we are Team Mirage and we have chosen the problem statement AI-enabled self-service at branch and contact centers. So we propose a AI-driven solution that allows conversation in natural language and instant responses with banking systems, which eliminates needs of having to put up with a long queue and having to communicate with rigid interfaces. So at branch level, the banks can put up a smart kiosk, which will have different modes. For example, the elders may get a mode where the UI is easier to navigate, and on these kiosks, the users will be allowed to talk in their preferred language using voice or text. So on the backend, the system processes the user input through an advanced NLP layer, which interprets and extracts the relevant information. Then this query is passed on through a processor layer, which processes the query and dynamically triggers the workflow. And for example, let's say if a user requests to transfer money to a different account, the system initiates the transaction workflow and step by step guides the user into following the next steps. And also, we have a context-aware memory system so that the user can ask direct follow-ups. For example, if a user asks for the total amount of money that he received in this month, the user can next ask for the last month without having to say the entire query again. He can just say the words that what about last month, and he'll get the entire output from the system. Also, we have a processing layer. So let's say if the user specifically asks for the amount of money he received in a particular month, the total amount of money that was credited to the account will be added and summed up and shown to the user of the entire transaction workflow. And also to enhance the background data processing, we have some query specific insights. For example, the user can directly get suggestions on the page if relevant to the questions or the topics he's talking about. And to ensure reliability, we are also using FSMs. This will make sure that the AI, if the AI ever hallucinates or gets stuck in a situation, we have our FSM setup, which is very deterministic. And also, we're using a tool graph here. So let's say for different queries, if we have to call up a same process or a function, the tool graph allows those functions to be called independently without having to interfere with other functions. And this is the unique and innovative part of our solution. Also, this is the technical approach. We will be using Server because it understands most of the Indian languages and works well with them. We have a tool graph and agent dynamic workflow planning as visible in the diagram here. And for the backend, basically, we can have some local LM setup, or we can call Gemini or any other online LLM. And we can have fast API out of Node.js service for the backend. And this is some of the risks and challenges that we have recognized. Some of the risk includes having speech recognition errors. So for this, we can have a fallback mechanism. For example, if the query is not clear to the server, it can ask for clarity. It can also handle ambiguity. And again, as we've already talked about the AI problems, we have implemented an FSM for that. And to make sure that the solutions are fast, we are also setting up cache in Redis. And for the API, and we're also abstracting the API layer, which will allow us to have a very modular approach towards the entire thing. And each of our API is modular and can be swapped if needed. And this is our potential impact. So basically, we are focusing more on elderly and the people who don't want to get into a lot of trouble while for making small kind of transaction or having small work done in banks. So thank you. This was our project.